Right folks, this is a different video, as you can tell. It's nothing about cooking, it's about me. It might be a bit of a heavy one for you, I don't know, because we are going to be talking about my mental health and other things as well. So what is this video about? In a nutshell, I've started the process to get my assessment for ADHD. I did kind of and ah as to whether I'd make this video or not. I thought, well, are people going to be interested in this? But then I kind of got thinking, well, actually maybe, to some of you out there at least, it might inspire you. You might resonate from some of the stuff I'm going to say, and it might help you in some way. I don't know, but I'm just going to kind of get these things off my chest so you get a better understanding as to where I'm at. A big shout out to another creator on this app as well, Kip Hakes. He did a video recently similar to this, which kind of inspired me to kind of talk about my own assessment journey. I've known Kip for a long time, since before YouTube, going back to like my blogging days. When I used to write a food blog, we sort of hung around in similar circles, so we used to communicate a lot, and he's a great guy. If you're into kind of techie stuff, like nerdy, geeky stuff, unboxing, if you like watching people tinker around with like broken consoles, trying to fix them, he's your guy, right? He's a great guy. I will put a link to his channel so you can go and check him out. And leave a comment on his channel. Tell him I sent you as well. So yes, I started the journey. I went to booked an appointment with my doctor. I filled out the necessary forms. So sometime in November, is it the 20th, I get to go and see my doctor and start that process properly. And some of you might be thinking, well, you're a bit old for that, aren't you? You know, I mean, I'm 43 now. So why bother? Why bother now? And to kind of understand that, I'm going to have to take you back to the beginning from when I was a child. I went to school. I was born in the early 80s. So I went to school in the late 80s, early 90s. And so like neurodivergent conditions weren't really spoken about that much, at least in the circles that I was in. And my mother certainly never took me to any doctor to kind of have me assessed when I was younger, because she just didn't give a shit. So right from school age, all the way up until now, I've always known that I'm different in some way. I've always had this feeling of like, almost like an imposter. And I've been very acutely aware of the things that I do and the behaviours that I display, the actions, the things that I do in my day-to-day life. And I've always thought, why do I do that? Why do I do this? Why do I behave that way? And so I've gone my whole life thinking that, not being able to quantify it and not understand what that is. And there's been times where I've kind of like chalked that up to, oh, I'm just a bit quirky, a bit strange, a bit different. Or, you know, at times I've sort of chalked it up to maybe depression. Because a lot of the symptoms with ADHD go alongside depression as well. The reason I don't think it's that is because actually, when I'm perfectly happy and fine and feeling joyful, I still display some of those characteristics. And then up until that point, was about 4.5 years ago maybe, one of my sisters pointed something out to me. It was Christmas time. It was around there at Christmas. I was fidgeting. Apparently I was fidgeting. I wasn't acutely aware of that at the time, but I was fidgeting and displaying some characteristics, and she just turned around and said to me, Adam, you've got ADHD. And that was kind of a bit like a light bulb moment for me at the time, because the first time anyone had said to me that that's the reason why you do those things. And I didn't really know much about it at that particular point, but it set something off for me. It was like, maybe I'll go home and have a look at this and try and understand what ADHD is. So I wrote a list of all the sort of traits and symptoms that ADHD, or was associated with ADHD, and then I listed the ones that affected me, or the things that I do. And overwhelmingly, it came out and looked like I had ADHD. But I still couldn't be certain. I was like, I can't just say that I have it. So I went and did a load of tests online from various different websites, and they all came out the same. So I was like, okay, this means something. So that was, say, about 4.5 years ago. And you might be saying, why didn't you go and get diagnosed then? Again, because of some of the symptoms I have weren't letting me do that. The inattentiveness, lack of focus, and just procrastination, and just putting things off. Because A, I was scared of being brushed off. Because I thought, well, if it isn't that, then what is it? It's something else. I'm back to square one. I'm freaking out. What the hell is wrong with me? And I'd heard so many like horror stories about the medication, the long waiting times and all this. I thought, what's the point? What's the point? And I thought to myself, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. Don't worry about it. Don't bother. Just carry on as you are. The problem with that and that way of thinking is not recognising that there are some very serious and consequential symptoms that I display that mean that I need to get this sorted. I need to get an assessment for my own peace of mind. Because if you're watching this and you have ADHD, you've been diagnosed, you'll know that it's not just about inattentiveness, it's not just about lack of focus, it's not just about skin picking, the poor sleep, and all the other sort of minor symptoms that come along with it. There's also the destructive and reckless behaviours that come with it as well. I'm not saying that I suffer from all of these, but what I'm saying is things like RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, regulating your emotions, substance abuse, and making like reckless decisions, you know, particularly around finances. So some of those symptoms that I do suffer with, the more serious consequential things, have a severe impact on my health and my well-being. So that's one of the big motivators for me to get this sorted. And again, you might be thinking, well, what's the diagnosis going to do for you? What's it going to change? First thing it will do is it'll give me validation. It will validate my feelings. It'll give me a better understanding of why my brain, does what it does. Second reason, it'll open up opportunities for therapy, medication, and tools and techniques to help me manage my ADHD better. Again, it might not be ADHD, it might be something else, but this is where I'm leaning and this is where the journey starts. And the third reason is for myself, but also for the people that I love and care about around me, because myself and those people deserve the best version of myself. And I thought I'd take you on the journey with me. You know, this is step one, this is the first stage. I've got my first appointment with the doctor in November. I've filled out all the forms, I've gave them back, so they're going to assess that and look at that first, and then I could discuss it more in depth with my doctor. I realise it's not going to be a quick journey by any stretch. I know it's the NHS is fucked. We all know this. So this could be a long journey. I may explore options like I've heard about right to choose, which might be an option, but I finally took the plunge and started it. Then there's the other side of things. I mean, I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but I think there's two separate things. I think the ADHD assessment, but I also think there's some unresolved childhood trauma. I went through a lot of abuse, neglect, trauma. Well, all of my siblings did. We were all treated pretty poorly as children. If you're new here or if you haven't seen the video, I will put a link up on the screen. It's a hard watch, but it will explain a bit more about my life growing up and the problems that I faced and my siblings faced. It's quite a long watch, it's about over half an hour. But if you've got the time, go and watch it because it'll help you understand more. But I think they're two separate things. So I've got to bring those two different things up within that session with my doctor and treat those independently. So yeah, this is step one. This is the first step in a long process. And I've made this for two reasons: for me to obviously hash it out, be a bit more transparent with you guys, but also, again, like I said at the beginning, this might resonate, this might help some of you out there in some way. If not, you might just say, oh, shut up, Adam, and get on with the bloody cooking. So yeah, those are the kind of two reasons why I'm taking you on this journey with me, and we'll see what happens at the end of this journey together. I may end up getting the diagnosis that I think that I have ADHD or some autism or a combination of both. It may be something completely different. I mean, I have got the added advantage that I've got a cousin that works in the NHS. He's a senior clinician, and I've sent him a load of stuff previously, and he's given me some advice as well. Obviously, he can't diagnose me because he's family. There's a conflict of interest there, but he's given me a lot of pointers. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'd like to know your thoughts on it. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. So yeah, this is the first step in a very long journey indeed. And just slightly off topic as well, I put out a post yesterday asking for your Christmas recipe ideas, because next week I'm going to start throwing myself into the Christmas recipes and getting loads of those out, because you know it's the busiest time of year. So thank you all for your suggestions. I've got a big list of stuff that I'm going to look at, some ideas that you've given me, some stuff that I've come up with myself. So yes, and if you want to throw me a few quid, you want to throw a bit of a donation towards the channel, because it is an expensive time of year. So any donation helps fund the videos. It's more than appreciated. You don't have to, but it all helps and goes towards making that Christmas content. So there's a link down below, a link up on screen. Donate if you want to. As I played the bike out there, a bit loud, wasn't it? So that's where we are. A different kind of video. Thanks for listening and letting me prattle on and waffle on to you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.